Yes. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome back to the Bhagavad Gita Study Circle. We are in 143rd session of the Bhagavad Gita Study Circle. And we have discussed 12 chapters. We are in 13th chapter. Uh, it's a very important chapter, a very philosophical chapter also. And Krishna is going to, he's already given some very interesting concepts about what is this nature, what is this Purusha, the enjoyer, and how this is all functioning with each other, how the world is running, the whole cosmos is running. All these things are discussed in this particular chapter. Before we go through the recap and a little bit of the session going forward with the next verse, let us chant the pranam mantras. All of you kindly join your palms and quickly let us chant the pranam mantras. Join your palms and chant along with me the pranam mantras. Let's dedicate this session to His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON and my beloved spiritual master. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. Hare Krishna. So once again, all of you, a very warm welcome to the Bhagavad Gita Study Circle. And in the previous sessions, we have discussed the questions asked by Arjuna. Arjuna had asked questions like, what is Purusha, Prakriti, Jnana, Gneyam, right? The Kshetra and Kshetrajna. So what is the Kshetra? What is the Kshetrajna? And Krishna very beautifully explained how that this body is a Kshetra, the field of activities, because we are not performing, a soul cannot in this material world operate without the body. It should either have the material body or the subtle body, the Sukshma Sharira or the Stula Sharira, right? The Sharira is given to the soul so that it can experience joy and happiness, distress, pleasure, pain, and of course, all these things are given to it because he wants to enjoy independently of Krishna. And that's why how many dresses are given to the Lord? I mean, how many dresses are given to the soul? How many dresses do the soul have? An option of how many dresses a soul has in this whole universe.
84 lakhs.
Yes, you got it right. 84 lakh dresses, varieties of dresses. And we have been changing dresses after dresses at dresses. Why? Thinking that, I'll become happy by wearing this dress. It happens, right? Many times, we look at in a mall when we see some new dress, we get attracted and we get an idea that, yes, maybe if I wear that dress, then I will look very nice and that will make me very happy because people are going to appreciate me. So we have this idea that if I wear a particular dress, I will become happy. So same way, we have so many desires to wear different dresses, and we have worn also many dresses. Sometimes, a dress of an elephant, a dress of a kangaroo, a dress of a cockroach, insects, many things, birds, fishes, all these different dresses we have worn, but we were not happy. So finally, through the process of natural evolution, when we say natural evolution, not the Darwin's evolution, but the evolution of the soul, we have come to this human form. Human form means we have got a very wonderful field of activity now. All those different dresses were also the kshetra was given to us, but in those field we could not actually ask higher questions. But now we have got a field, this human body, where we can ask very nice fundamental questions of our existence. Who am I? What is the purpose of my life? Where will I go after that? So this field of activity that we have got, human form, is very, very special. And that's why we are all here in the session, understanding who we are, right? So Kshetra, what is the Kshetragna? Then there is a Paramashetragna, that is Krishna. So Krishna has explained all these different things. And very importantly, in the previous verse, we discussed that how in verse number 23rd, clearly Krishna is differentiating from his position from the Kshetragna that is there in the field of activity. We are also Kshetragna. Krishna is also Kshetragna, but he's Parama Kshetragna. What makes him Parama Kshetragna? Because this is what it is. Upadrashta Anumanta cha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwaraha Paramatmeti Chapyukto Dehesmin Purusha Paraha. So this Upadrashta Anumantacha, Upadrashta, he oversees everything. He oversees all the activities of the soul. And Anumanta, so in the previous verse, we understood that how without his permission, Anumanta, or without his given that permission of the Lord, we cannot speak, we cannot hear, we cannot do anything. We can become completely paralyzed. We may be conscious, but we cannot do any, perform any activity in this kshetra without his permission. So continuously, at a real time, moment we desire, the Lord sanctions, desire sanctions, desire sanctions. So at a real time, the Lord is sanctioning. And moment sometimes the Lord says, "Okay, I want to withdraw my sanction." That's it. We become paralyzed. We cannot do anything. So he is a bharta, he is a bhokta. We are bhukta, we are enjoyed, and Krishna is bhokta, he is the enjoyer. So there is a difference between enjoyed and enjoyer. We are meant for his pleasure. But what are we doing now? We want to get pleasure. And that is why we are trapped in this maze of material world. Continuously we are trying to be happy, but we are not able to be happy because that is not our constitutional position. We cannot become Krishna, but we are trying to become Maheshwaraha. But who is the Maheshwara? Krishna is the Maheshwara. So this is we have understood in the previous verse how that Lord creates this material world, and after creating this material world, He has sent us with that beautiful example that how there is a musician and the director, right? A director gives a lot of wonderful instructions by waving his hand, and everybody is in sync. Everybody is so beautifully playing, the guitarist, the violinist, the drummer, everybody is in sync. But the moment somebody says, "Okay, I don't want to follow this director," then wants to play his own tune, then he creates a big problem there. There is no sync, there is no symphony. So then he will be sent to a separate room. Okay, the director says, "Go." So similarly, because we came out of sync in the spiritual world because of our independent desire, we have now come to this material world, and here Krishna has given us the false ego. Okay, you think that you are the master and do whatever you want. So all these different things we have understood in the previous verse, and in this coming verse, Krishna is going to explain further about how that we can actually come out of this material world, how there is a possibility, what are the different ways to get liberated in this section. We'll see how it is. Okay, so verse number 24 we are going to chant today. So Hina Mataji, let's you please unmute yourself. Let's chant the verse for today, verse number 24. Hmm. य एवं वेत्ति पुरुषम्
य एवं वेत्ति पुरुषम्
प्रकृतिं च गुणैः सह
प्रकृतिं च गुणैः सह
सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि
सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि
न स भूयोऽभिजायते.
न स भूयोऽभिजायते.
Wonderful. Once again. य एवं वेत्ति पुरुषं
य एवं वेत्ति पुरुषम्
प्रकृतिं च गुणैः सह
प्रकृतिं च गुणैः सह
सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि
सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि
स भूयोऽभिजायते.
न स भूयोऽभिजायते.
Please read the translation.
One who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity, and the interaction of the modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless of his present position. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna. So, a very interesting verse now. So, now one who understands this material nature, that means what is the material nature comprising of? The material nature is comprising of this 24 elements that we have discussed, right? This whole material nature. That means everything that is there in the universe is also there in this body. Whatever is there in the macrocosm, it's also there in the microcosm. That is called Brahmanda, this is called Pindanda. Our body is called Pindanda. What is outside, this is Brahmanda. Whatever is there in the material world, in the whole universe, is also there inside us. Prabhuji, how it is? Yeah, it is there. It's again a topic in itself. But everything, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego, uh, all these different varieties of material sense objects, the senses, everything is there in the material world, in the universe, and that's there in our body also. So if we really want to understand the universe, it is important to first begin with ourselves. Because if we can try to know ourselves through this body, in one sense, you can understand the universe also very easily. So that's what Krishna is saying here now. One who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity, and the interaction of the modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. So there are many astrophysicists, they're trying to understand the universe. But whatever there is there outside is also inside. So our whole Vedic culture is what? To look inside, to look within. So when we start understanding ourselves from within and start bifurcating one by one, okay, earth, water, fire, air, ether. What are the Sankhya philosophy says? Okay, these are all different 24 elements within me, I mean this field of activity. So they try to analyze. What is analysis? Analysis is earth. What are the properties of earth, the characteristics of earth? But oh yes, this earth is there. I cannot be this earth because I have thinking, feeling, willing, but earth does not have. So similarly, the water, air, ether, the senses, each one of these 24 elements are analyzed and analyzed and analyzed. And then finally, oh, I am not this, I am not earth, I am not water, I am not air, I am not ether. Naiti, 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 naiti. I am not this, I am not this. This is Sankhya philosophy. This is how what happens is they come to a position, the point where when they understand fully that I am not this material body at all. So when they come to this point through Sankhya Yoga, understanding, oh, I am not this body, but I am different from this body. But how this body is operating? Yes, there is the true me, the soul, who is now energizing this material body. Without me, this body cannot grow. So, this interaction between me and this matter is what is giving me an experience of my existence now. But my existence is not this matter. My existence is this spiritual nature. So this is how, one by one, when we understand that I am actually of a spiritual nature and I'm not this body, that is when we will attain liberation. Krishna is saying that is the first step. The first step is to know that I am not this body, I am the spirit soul. And moment we understand that, we are liberated. Krishna is saying. Krishna is saying he will not take birth here again, regardless of his present position. See, we might be in a male form, in a female form, in whatever form we are. But moment we understand The point that I am different from this body, we get liberated. Liberated means what? No taking birth again. And moment we say that no taking birth, then there is no death. Why there is death? Because there is birth. But when you come to a position to know that, oh yes, I'm not going to take birth only because I'm always existing. So there is no question of death. Because I'm not going to take birth, there is no question of death. This is a science. This is a science. So Krishna very beautifully is explaining this. So this is a philosophy. And now, Prabhuji, it is so difficult for us to actually analyze one by one all these different items. Sankhya philosophy. It is so difficult, isn't it? Very difficult. Now we have no time to analyze each of these elements. If we try to analyze each of these elements, it's going to be very tough. It's this one lifetime is not sufficient in the Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, the situation has changed so much. So analyzing each of these elements is not going to be possible. That means, is there any hope for us? How do we actually understand now? So that is what Krishna is saying. That if you cannot actually understand all these different material nature, the philosophy of the material nature, and get liberated, there are some other methods also. What are those other methods? Let's understand. So, Kaushik, you please unmute yourself. Let's share the next words. Very interesting. Achyutanji, Hare Krishna, and happy Vishu to you. Thank you so much for joining.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Happy
Hare
to
Krishna.
everybody.
Yes, thank you. So, Kaushik, this is 25, verse number 25.
Sure.
ध्यानेनात्मनि पश्यन्ति
ध्यानेनात्मनि पश्यन्ति
केचित् आत्मानमात्मना
केचिदात्मानमात्मना
अन्ये साङ्ख्येन योगेन
अन्ये साङ्ख्येन योगेन
कर्मयोगेन चापरे.
कर्मयोगेन चापरे
ध्यानेनात्मनि पश्यन्ति
ध्यानेनात्मनि पश्यन्ति
केचिदात्मानमात्मना
केचिदात्मानमात्मना
अन्ये साङ्ख्येन योगेन
अन्ये साङ्ख्येन योगेन
कर्मयोगेन चापरे.
कर्मयोगेन चापरे.
Please read the translation.
Sure. Some perceive the supersoul within themselves through meditation, others through the cultivation of knowledge, and still others through working without fruitive desires. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. So, now in the previous verse, we understood that what Prabhupada was also saying is in verse number, one second, yeah, Prabhupada mentioned one very important thing in the previous purport. He said that, see, by our personal endeavor, it is completely not possible to understand who we are, the material nature. How do we understand then? We understand with the association of authorities, with the association of devotees. Who is the authority for us? Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is the authority for us. And based on the books that Prabhupada has written, authoritative books, we understand the philosophy of the material nature. So when we have the blessing of the spiritual master, of a saintly person, then it is actually easy for us to understand our true position. And we can revert back to our spiritual consciousness. What happens is many times people say, प्रभु जी हम तो बहुत अच्छा पढ़ रहे हैं, भगवत गीता हमारे पास है और इस्कॉन का ही भगवत गीता है. We have the Bhagavad Gita of ISKCON only as it is, but we are not able to understand, Prabhuji. We have read, but we are not able to understand. But when they actually start hearing from a devotee the Bhagavad Gita, then they say, oh, Prabhuji, Abhi, when you know, after listening to the Bhagavad Gita session, we are able to understand a little bit. So, when we associate with the devotees who have not just read, but also practicing Bhagavad Gita to whatever extent he is, we are able to understand from him the wonderful concepts of the Bhagavad Gita. So that's why Bhagavad Gita should also be heard from the devotees. Reading is important. But when we hear and then go back and then you read, so you start correlating things. Oh, yes, Prabhuji has told this much. Then I read. Then reinforcement is happening that yes, our understanding of the spiritual consciousness is getting reinforced. Then, when you read here, read and hear, read and hear, then you will get an ability to speak. So then, when you start explaining, you read and hear, and then you speak about that to your family, to your friends, then you are actually getting slowly convinced about the philosophy. You may not actually may have realized the knowledge. You may not have realized that knowledge, but you are getting conviction about that knowledge, and that is a very important step. So that is why, as devotees, you hear. Now, when you hear, doesn't mean that you only hear. You should hear and read. Conviction becomes stronger. When you see that, oh yes, this is a very wonderful knowledge, then you will speak about it. So when you speak about it and discuss with others this philosophy, then what will happen is your conviction increases. So when this process is continued, then slowly when you engage in devotion, see, conviction means what? When you get convinced, you want to engage in devotional service. Yeah, I'm getting convinced about my presence, my individuality, and my connection with Krishna. I should also do some seva to Krishna, right? So what you will do is you will start engaging in devotional service. Devotional service gives us realization. Reading, hearing, and then chanting is good. It increases conviction. But when you do seva, when you do some action for the pleasure of Krishna, and that action can be even speaking, that action can be even hearing. But when we do it with the mood that I want to serve Krishna, then that realization will come. Why that realization comes? Because Krishna will reciprocate. Realization comes when Krishna reciprocates with us. So that is what I wanted to make clear in the previous verse. This is very nicely explained by Prabhupada. And now Krishna in this verse is explaining that how we can get liberated and what are the different forms or different ways of understanding the true nature of the soul. So, is there any way to get liberated? Yes, Krishna says, those who are atheists, Prabhupada says, those who are atheists, agnostic, and skeptics are beyond a sense of spiritual understanding. So, there are some people who are atheists, agnostics, confused, skeptics. They are not very convinced about whether to believe or not believe in God. There are many people like that. Why do they have this kind of confusion? Is because they do not have faith. They don't have any faith in spiritual life. And such people cannot advance. They are beyond the spiritual understanding. They cannot come to the point. Faithless people, doubtful people cannot understand spiritual life. But there are many people who are actually very faithful, but they have still not come in touch with the spiritual nature or spiritual person. So there are many, many wonderful people who are very faithful, but they have not still come in contact with a spiritual person or a spiritual organization. So this is where we have to fill the gap. Our duty as devotees is what? To fill this gap between the Lord and the faithful people. So there are many faithful people. We have to somehow connect these people to Krishna because they are introspective. How will we get to know whether they're introspective? Moment you ask them a certain question about their existence, they will try to analyze. They'll start asking questions to you. So when you see there is a person who is inquisitive, that means he is trying to understand. Moment we analyze, actually, when I go outside and start talking to people, sometimes strangers also, when you're commuting from one place to another place, you meet a lot of people. So when I come across some people, they know by my attire and all, they try to understand he's a spiritual person, and they ask a question, just fundamental question, where am I coming from, all these basic things. Then when I ask a question to them, and they give a very cold answer, I know that they're not interested. But there will be some people, moment you ask them something, they'll start analyzing more. They'll start asking so many questions. So recently also I was traveling from one place to another place. Where is that? I was going to Pune, I guess. Not Pune. No, I was traveling to Hubli. So that time I met one youngster, and uh, now just a random talk. But when I asked him a question, he got triggered, and he went on all that journey. He was asking me so many questions. So moment that happened, he got connected. He got connected, and he wanted to know more. I have invited him to a temple, so he said he will come to the temple. So you see how there are faithful people. Why that happened? That's happening because he was faithful, but he was not aware that there is a life like this. So when you make that connection, their connection with God like this, then it's very nice. It results in wonderful. Our thing is very simple: connect people to Prabhupada and Prabhupada to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It becomes very easy. But Prabhupada is also mentioning there are some people who establish the doctrine of monism are also counted in among the atheists and agnostics. Monism means what? Mayavada. Mayavada is what? Mayavada. Prabhupada is saying even Mayavadis, they are supposed to be considered as atheists. Why they are atheists? Because who is a who is a theist? One who believes in God is a theist. But what is this Mayavadi do? The monists do? They think that I am only God. So when somebody is not believing in the existence of God and thinks that he himself is God, he is also atheist. Prabhupada is saying even such people have to be considered as atheists and agnostics. Right? So in other words, Prabhupada is saying that only devotees of Krishna can actually situate themselves in the spiritual understanding on the platform of spirituality because they understand that there is a spiritual nature beyond this material nature. There is Krishna who is actually controlling everything. So devotees can establish this relationship with Krishna very nicely and easily compared to the Mayavadis. Very difficult for Mayavadis. They really cannot become happy completely because at some point a soul wants a connect, a relationship. Because when there is a relationship, they can become happy. But for the monists, for the Mayavadis, there is no such thing. And that's why they get frustrated after some time. So Prabhupada also says the Sankhya philosophers, they analyze the material world, 24 elements basically, and they place the spirit soul at the 25th element and the Paramatma at the 26th element. So 24 elements are there, then there is a 25th element, then there is a 26th element that is the Paramatma. Right? So this is how they analyze, the Sankhya philosophers, they analyze. And very beautifully in the third canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the not Kardama, Kapila Muni is actually speaking to Devahuti, his mother, about the Sankhya philosophy very elaborately. All these things are being explained. So let us try to understand that there are people who are understanding this true nature through Sankhya philosophy, and Prabhupada is further explaining more in the next verse. Let's try to understand that also. So, in our time and age, Sankhya philosophy is not possible, so we should just leave it. Vinodji, unmute yourself. Let's chant the next verse. Verse number 26. अन्ये त्वेवम् अजानन्ता
अन्वेते एवं अजानन्ता
श्रुत्वान्येभ्य उपासते
श्रुत्यानेभा उपासते
तेऽपि चातितरन्त्येव
तेऽपि चाते तरन्तेव
मृत्युं श्रुतिपरायणाः.
मृत्युं श्रुतिपरायणः.
Once again, अन्ये त्वेवम् अजानन्ता
अन्वेतेवम् अजानन्ता
श्रुत्वान्येभ्य उपासते
श्रुत्वानेभ्यः उपासते
तेऽपि चातितरन्त्येव
तेऽपि चाते तरन्तेव
मृत्युं श्रुतिपरायणाः.
मृत्युं श्रुतिपरायणः.
Wonderful. Please read the translation.
Uh, Again, there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about Him from others. Because of
Hmm.
their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death. Hare Krishna.
Hmm. Yes. So, very interesting. So there are people now. Sometimes those who are not very conversant in the spiritual nature, but there are some people who worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about Him and from others. Because of their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death. This is what is so important. So basically, what Prabhupada is saying here is in this 26 words, Prabhupada is saying that this is the perfect situation for us in the material modern society. Prabhupada is saying that this verse is applicable for modern society because we cannot understand Sankhya, go to the forest, analyze so many deep things. Not possible. So Prabhupada is saying simply by hearing from authorities, the hearing process is so very important. When we start hearing, our faith increases. So now, this is the secret. This is the secret. See, many times there are people who are yogis and there are a lot of mystics in this world. Prabhupada says these are all childish endeavors. Now, very interesting. Prabhupada, see how beautifully he's telling this that these are all childish endeavors. Why Prabhupada is calling a yogi as a yogi who is getting so much of a mystic power as a childish endeavor? You see, when child, children sometimes, they get something new, they tell and show off to the other friends. See, I have this something, I have something better than you. They want to show off, right? So these yogis are also like that. Yogis, they wanted to show off to the normal man, normal people, that see, I have got this mystic power. You don't have. I can fly in the air. I can walk on the water. I can get prapti siddhi. I can become, I can get anything from anywhere in the world. I can become very huge. I can become very minute. So you don't have this. Childish. Children, play around with this. Something better they get, try to show off. So Krishna, Prabhupada is also saying there will be some yogis. They are busy with these childish endeavors. Not that it is wrong. It is also a path. It is also a path to attain and understand ourselves. But if the yogis are only doing this, busy with this mystic powers, then there is no use. A yogi ultimately within his heart should get connected to the Narayana, the Paramatma within the heart. If the yogi is not able to understand this and having the connect with the Lord within, then that yogi is just a child. He is just endeavoring all these childish things with no connect with Krishna, right? So we have to become Narayana Parayana. Narayana Parayana means what we are completely absorbed in the pastimes of Krishna. Many times, Bhagavatam explains this. There is Narayana Parayana. Bhagavatam also explains about people who are Kama Krodha Parayana. They are only absorbed in anger, lust, greed, envy. This is where they are totally involved in. So this is another nature. There are some people who are Kama Krodha Parayana. There are some people who are Narayana Parayana. So we have to become Narayana Parayana, where we continuously hear about Krishna. And hearing is so wonderful. Hearing about Krishna is so much pleasurable. Krishna has performed so many beautiful pastimes. Why? So that we can understand and relish and have a connection with Him. You see, Krishna Leela is so wonderful. Hearing the pastimes of Krishna stealing, you know, the butter, at a small age, killing the different demons, lifting the Govardhan hill, stealing the hearts of the gopis and all the Brajavasis. Sometimes Krishna is so mischievous, he does so many mischievous things. And sometimes he runs away from the enemies, sometimes he kills the enemies. All these different pastimes, if you hear, they're so pleasurable. Sometimes you get romanchana. Romanchana means your hair stand on the end when you hear these pastimes of Krishna, Lord Rama. so beautifully. So much of nectar is there, messages are there in the Krishna Katha, right? And just by hearing, we can perfect this example. Now, you see what is Prabhupada is telling in this translation. Yet there are some people who are not very conversant with the spiritual knowledge. Oh, all these 24 elements and this and that, nothing they are aware. But because their tendency to hear from authorities is there, they also transcend the path of birth and death. That means this is the best process. And the example is Parikshit Maharaj. See, Parikshit Maharaj, what did he do? He didn't go because he had only 7 days. Now, he did not go to the forest and, okay, let me analyze all the 24 elements. No. He just went to the forest on the bank of Ganga. He heard from Shukadev Goswami. This is exactly what Parikshit Maharaj did. He started hearing Krishna Katha or complete Srimad Bhagavatam. And when he heard the Srimad Bhagavatam completely, what happened? He transcended birth and death. The Takshaka came and bit him. The snake bird came and bit him. But Takshaka was only a medium for him to liberate him from this material world. To Takshaka bit only his body. But what happened to the soul of Parikshit? It got liberated to the spiritual world. How it got liberated? By hearing. That means we should follow this process of Shukadev Goswami. Whatever Shukadev Goswami, if you follow the process that is done, practiced, and exemplified by Shukadev Goswami, that is of hearing, we will also transcend. Most easiest process. Chant and hear. That's exactly what we are doing every Sunday. Although we are supposed to do every day, but we are all caught up with so many things. But at least on a Sunday, when we come and when we hear bit by bit, what is happening is this will never go in vain. You have heard, right? The distance and the journey of many miles begins with a small step. So it's like that. So spiritual pastimes of Krishna are unlimited, but we have begun somewhere. We are taking steps. Now, by taking this step, one day we will actually transcend, we will reach our destination. So, this hope should be there, that faith should be there. By just hearing Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, the pastimes of Krishna, I am moving forward in my spiritual life. That faith should be there in all of us. So, this will never go waste. You are investing in something which is highest. Please understand, this is not an easy thing. People who could not attain liberation in the previous ages so easily by hearing, they had to do all these 24 elements का analysis and this and that, तब जाके उनको मिलता है liberation. But our case is not like that. We have been given the best process and the easiest process. We should not miss this opportunity. And what Krishna is promising here, if you hear attentively and understand this process properly, we can transcend the birth and death. What a wonderful secret it is. By hearing, if you can get rid of this birth and death, amazing thing it is. So develop a taste of hearing about the pastime. All of us should develop that taste. You should hear more and more. When we hear, now we are meeting only on Sundays. But you have YouTube, you have these days technology. Use that. Hear from the devotees. Hear Prabhupada. You hear more and more, hear and more and more. Continuously. Many devotees, they tell me also, they have noticed here also, when I'm eating prasadam, I generally try to eat it in a lonely place. I don't mix up with people these days, generally. When I eat, I hear. I switch on some lecture of Prabhupada or some devotee, I start hearing. Even while eating. And I'll tell you my process. I'll tell you now because this verse has come. It's not to self glorify, but this is the process. I hear a lot. I have a small speaker, and the speaker has a tag also. I can take it and hang it anywhere I want. And I take it even to the bathrooms. When I'm even taking bath, I have a lecture on. It is connected through Bluetooth, and wherever I go, when I reach home, the first thing I do is I switch on the speaker, I switch on some lecture, and start hearing continuously. So I really don't waste much time. While eating, I am listening. When I'm traveling from my room to the temple, when I'm walking, I'm listening to lectures. When I'm going back, I'm listening to a lecture. Only when I'm doing services, I actually, talk to people, I interact with people, but most of my time actually goes into hearing. I listen to lectures, I listen, and reading also. Reading is also hearing. Reading is also you're hearing Prabhupada. When you read Prabhupada's books, you're hearing Prabhupada's words. So reading also. So every night, at least 45 minutes to 1 hour of reading. That gives me so much of peace. Because when we hear more and more, and sometimes I alone, when I hear and hear some pastime, I'm smiling. Oh, what Krishna has done. Oh, this Vamana, such a wonderful pastime. Yesterday I was listening to Vamana. It is so wonderful pastime. How Aditi and Kashyapa Muni begot Vamana as a child. So all these beautiful things are there. So you should hear more and more and relation. So this connection should be developed. Hearing propensity should be developed. So don't miss out opportunity. Why we have to develop the taste for hearing? It is because of this that we can actually transcend birth and death. Because enough, I don't want to be in this material world anymore. Because so many dresses we have changed. I have changed my dresses so many times. Now I feel that I don't want to get any more dress. Enough of this. Now it's time to go back and be there with Krishna all the time and enjoy. Revert back to our spiritual consciousness. Why to struggle in this material world? Why children, husband, this, that, all these things we have done birth after birth. Now show off to the material world. There's a word in spiritual life also. We have to show off to the material world that I am a normal man. You have to show to the material world that I'm like any other common man, any other husband and wife. Show off to the people, because if you don't show off, there is a program, okay, some get together gathering, some family program. You should attend that. You should never say no, because if you don't attend, then the klesha, there'll be a klesha in the family. Problems will begin. You have to do all that thing, but internally you're detached. Internally, you should not be attached. Internally, you are thinking about Prabhupada, Krishna. Internally, you should be absorbed. This is the science. Externally, you are showing that, oh, I am a, happy grasta hai, you're going to 40 parties and this and that, all these functions and all these things. Externally, you should show off to the people. That's okay. But internally, you should be detached. How do we get detached? By hearing. So this is the process. So don't waste time. Never waste time. Right? So this is a secret actually. I'll tell you secret. If you want to be happy, just continuously while cooking, hear. While you're walking, traveling, you hear. While driving, you hear. Some lecture you hear. Actually, it's going to give you a lot of peace. You may not hear completely, but some 1, 2 points will go into the consciousness. Hear Prabhupada, hear devotees, and amazing things will happen. All these details, I'll tell you, when you want to become a preacher, you want to discuss about Bhagavad Gita. When you hear this Bhagavad Gita study circle lectures again from, session number 1, when you want to give lectures, you refer to these sessions, you make so much sense. Ah, yes, you have a very good content now. You can become a speaker. And that's exactly what. Of course, there are many other content, but this will give you a connect. This will give you a good source. That's why so much of time is there. We are investing here so that we are not going in a hurry to finish off Bhagavad Gita, because when you want to explain to others, you will have enough content to explain. Right? So this is the purpose. So one more verse will come. Right? Achyutanji, unmute yourself. Let's chant one more verse for today. Verse number 27. Yavat sanjayate kinchit
यावत् सञ्जायते किञ्चेत्
satvam sthavara jangamam
सत्त्वं स्थावरजङ्गमम्
kshetra kshetragna samyogat
क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञसंयोगात्
tadviddhi bharatarshava.
तद्विद्धि भरतर्षभा
Once again, yavat sanjayate kinchit
यावत् सञ्जायते किञ्चित्
satvam sthavara jangamam
सत्त्वं स्थावरजङ्गमम्
kshetra kshetragna samyogat
क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञसंयोगात्
तद्विद्धि भरतर्षभा.
तद्विद्धि भरतर्षभा
Wonderful. Please
हरे
read
कृष्ण
down.
O chief of the Bharatas. Know that whatever you see in existence, both the moving and the non-moving, is only a combination of the field of activities and the knower of the field. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Krishna is now getting into the new section here. Here, O chief of Bharatas, know that whatever you see in existence, both the moving and the non-moving, is only a combination of the field of activities and the knower of the field. So, since this Krishna is talking about seeing here, he's talking about seeing. So, what is that Krishna is saying? Moving and non-moving, whatever, is only a combination of field of activities and the knower of the field. So, whatever we see in this material world, what happens? Suppose now there is a mobile. So when I see this mobile, this light reflected from this mobile gets onto my retina, right? And what the retina does is the retina will invert this image. Whatever we see, it falls on the lens, and after that, after on the lens of eye, then there is an inversion that happens, and the inverted light falls onto the retina. Now the retina, what it does, the inverted image of this is sent, the signal is sent from retina to the brain. But the brain still analyzes that the mobile is straight. See how it is? This itself is so mesmerizing, isn't it? Bewildering, isn't it? As per science, this is the true thing. You are holding a mobile straight. But what your eyes does is, on the lens, it inverts the image and the inverted image falls on the retina. But when the signal goes from retina to the brain, your brain is actually seeing it straight. Actually, the brain is not seeing. The brain is not seeing, the brain is only processing. To say that it is mobile, just imagine this important thing. What is falling on your eyes is only the light. What is falling on the eyes is only the light of this mobile phone. And what a signal is going to the brain is the signal of this light that it has received. The real object is outside, but your brain is saying that it is a mobile. How is that the signal, bioelectrical signal, is considered to be a mobile? How is that we are getting an experience of seeing the mobile when it is actually a signal in the brain? The brain is only receiving a signal. But the experience of seeing is coming from where? Who is actually seeing? The brain is not seeing. The brain is receiving only the signal. So who is actually seeing this mobile phone then? So there is Kshetrajna. This is where they don't understand. The modern scientists are not able to understand consciousness. They are simply speculating. They have understood that okay, this is the eyes, and the eyes will function like this, the brain will function like this, the signals are going like this. All these things they understood. But who is the seer? That don't understand. They only see that there is a body. They analyze the body, but who is within the body who is actually seeing this mobile phone? That is not what they can understand. The aspect of consciousness, Chetana, is not understood by them. So, although only the signal is received by the brain, but the seer within us is different. So, that's what Krishna is saying here, that one who actually sees the moving and the non-moving continuously. See what Krishna beautifully says? He's saying that both moving and non-moving, oh Bharata, whatever you see in this existing is a combination of the field of activities and the knower of the activities. Now, this is very interesting. Just the field is not essential, just the field is not important. Now, what are the modern scientists doing? The modern scientists are understanding only the field, but they are not able to understand the knower, the soul. And that's why the knowledge is incomplete. Whatever knowledge we are studying in the schools is only about the Kshetra. No school is teaching about the Kshetragna. That is why the modern science is incomplete. Right? So the mind integrates all this information from received from the senses and then actually gives an experience to the soul. That is what is the difference. What is the difference between a phone camera and the human eye? The ultimately the camera is capturing the same image. It's taking the photographs of the environment that is around you. The eyes is also actually capturing. It's taking photographs of the environment around you. But the phone does not have experience of actually seeing these different things. It does not have emotions. If there is a somebody approaching us with a knife, the mobile will actually see, the mobile camera will look at that, but it will not have any emotions. But if you see someone coming towards you with a knife, then you will have emotions of fear, right? That is the difference. Why? Because there is Kshetragna within us. There is no Kshetragna there. So this is simple common sense. There is something beyond this material body, right? So that we should understand. So there is also an important thing that we should know, that this material body, this matter that we see, cannot grow without the Kshetragna, the spirit soul. If you see a dead body is lying. Do you think the dead body will move or grow in size? No, it will not grow because no activity will happen in the dead body because the Kshetragna, soul, has left. But whereas you see, we were in the mother's womb. In the mother's womb, the body grows. Why does it grow? Because there is a Kshetragna, there is a soul inside the baby. And because there is a soul inside, ultimately it is all matter 24 elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether. That is what the how that is how the body develops in the mother's womb with all these different elements. But if the soul leaves, then the body will not grow, and then we call it as okay. There is a the fetus could not develop, and the baby is dead within the mother's womb. But no, when there is a Kshetragna soul, the body develops completely. 9 months, 9 days, the body completely develops, and then it is delivered. And moment we come out, the body continues to grow. It is still continuously growing. We were having a small baby-like body. It has grown, 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 and now we have become so old also. The body is still growing. Why? Because there is Kshetragna. The moment the Kshetragna leaves the body will fall flat. There is no more changes in this body. That is the difference. So what is happening now? All the differences, all that we are seeing, whether it is in a moving or a non-moving, a plant also. If you see, it is not non-moving, but a small plant grows into a big tree. It is a small seed. The seed becomes sprouts and becomes a plant, and the plant becomes a big tree. The transformation from a seed to a big tree is happening because there is chetana, there is a consciousness, there is a kshetragna inside the plant. And that's a seed. Same thing is happening with us. So all this transformation from a small seed to a big plant, from a small seed called semen to a big human body, all these transformations are happening because there is a Kshetragna present. So Krishna is saying here, oh Arjuna, all these different things that you are seeing, the interaction, it is nothing but the interaction between the Kshetra and Kshetragna. Now somehow we should become intelligent and we should say enough. I don't want to further get into this. I have to wind up this field of activities in this material world, and I need to go back to Bharat. That should be our goal. So how do I go back to Bharat? Here and here and here, just by Shravanam. Here again and again, more and more. So that will make your life very simple and very easy also. There's so much of knowledge to gain. That's why don't waste time. Any free time, here. Switch on the chant or you should be hearing. You're traveling, you're doing anything, just listen, hear the lectures. So wonderful it will be. Okay, so from the next section, Krishna is going to explain many wonderful things. 28 to 35, we have another seven verses to continue, 7 or 8 verses to finish in this chapter, to cover in this chapter. We will cover that in the next session. Any questions, please? So whatever we have discussed, read the Bhagavad Gita today, especially these verses, and try to analyze few things, correlate things, and if possible, try to speak about this to others. That will become a very good reinforcement.
Prabhuji, I have got a small question
Yes.
regarding seva. Regarding
Okay.
seva, you mentioned, I wanted to know what are the different kinds of seva we can do. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to help in a small way a Gaushala. So is that
Okay.
also considered a seva?
Yes, very much, very much. Because you see, Krishna is called Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. Krishna is saying, I am always protective of the Gomata and Brahmanas. It is these are very dear to Krishna, and when we protect the cows and when we give shelter to the cows, it is the greatest seva. It is a direct seva to Krishna. Go seva is a direct seva to Krishna. Go seva and Krishna seva you cannot differentiate in one sense. And Brahmana seva, when Vaishnava seva. These are Krishna. It is as good as worshipping Krishna. So we should consider and take a Go Seva very seriously, and it is a direct Seva, very good Seva. It is very important Seva. Go Seva is so important. And Go Seva, even if our Krishna consciousness is incomplete, and if Emiraj and Yamadut comes and takes us, and when they are taking us to the Yamaloka, in between there is a Vaitarni river, a river which is very filthy, which is filled with blood, mucus, pus, and all nonsense things. Vaitarni river. To cross that river, when we have to cross the river, boatmen will ask currency, he'll ask money. Not that Indian rupee or dollars or no gold coins. No, he'll not ask that currency. The only currency they will ask is, have you done Go Seva? Do you have the currency of Go Seva? If you have a currency, you can sit on the boat. If you do not have this currency of Go Seva, then you will be dragged through this river, this dirty river, and then taken to the other side. So Go Seva will help you to climb the boat on the Vaitrini river. That much is guaranteed. So very, very important. Very, very important. So Go Seva should be done. And uh, the importance of cow and cow worship is a very beautiful thing to know. And now you actually gave me another topic. Now Dev has told about the internal and external cleanliness, Suchi, that we will cover. That is one session that we have to cover. I remember that. I've not forgotten. And Go Seva is another session that we will have because there is so much to know about Go Seva. And if you can do Go Seva with knowledge, you will become, you will relish it even more. So very nice. So continue doing Go Seva. It is actually direct service to Krishna, no doubt about it. So Krishna says actually, the broad level speaking is seva means prana artha dhiya vacha. Prana means give your life for Krishna. All the devotees in ISKCON, they have given their life to Krishna. So prana, if you cannot give life, artha, you have a little money, you're running money, you use that money for Go Seva, you use that money for Vaishnava Seva. So prana artha, dhiya, no, you don't have money also, okay, intelligence, buddhi you have. So you use your buddhi to come up with some nice. You help in the temple designs. You help in so many managing the temple. You use your buddhi. If you don't have intelligence, also I'm a dumb fellow. No problem. Vacha. You have heard something today. You go and speak about it, about Krishna's pastimes. Oh, this is a very nice temple. You know, there's a Goshala there. Why don't you go and do some Goseva? You can tell this to people. Even Vacha, telling about these things, the spiritual aspects to others, is also Seva. So Prana Artha Diya Vacha. So Seva can be done at any of these 4 levels. So each one of you, according to your capacity, try to do Seva to Krishna in this way. That will really help. So good, you got a ticket at a Baitarani for sure. Of course, we don't want to look at these Yamadutas for sure. We definitely don't want to see them. We want to see only the Vishnu Dutas coming at a point of death. But worst case, kabhi kabhi ho jata hai kuch gadbad. Agar if we are not able to remember and then we are by mistake sometimes these Yamadutas take us away. At least we have a ticket to cross this river and go to Yamaloka. And Yamaloka anyway, Chitragupta will be there and he will give you he'll give clear sanction that, oh no, Vinodji has attended Bhagavad Gita class, he cannot be put into hellish planets. He has to be transferred to back to the earthly planet, because there is some portion incomplete, भक्ति थोड़ा incomplete रह गया होगा, इसलिए हम लोगों ने लेके आया है। ठीक है, उसको वापस वैष्णव भक्तों के अंदर में, फैमिली के अंदर में उनको बर्थ दे देना है। Give birth to him in a family of a Vaishnavas, he'll continue from where he has left. So Bhagavad Gita study circle session number whatever it is, it will start again from there. So this is how continuity is there. Spiritual life means there is wonderful investment. Best investment कभी भी कम नहीं होता. Investment means continuously वो grow होता है. Not like today's इन्वेस्टमेंट इन मटेरियल वर्ल्ड, स्टॉक्स अप एंड डाउन, इन्वेस्टमेंट का कभी म्यूचुअल फंड हो गया, अप डाउन हो गया, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है. नो अप एंड डाउन इन स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ, ओनली ग्रोथ, नो डिक्लाइन. Okay, so great investment you are doing, all of you, to continue like this.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hari
Hare
Bol,
Krishna.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. So good, very nice, all of you. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Kaushik, you were saying something?
I know, I just said thank you. So nice to be back.
Yeah, so try to join whenever possible. This is going to be the time now going forward. And keep
Definitely.
reading. And if you have missed some of the previous sessions, try to listen to them. We have discussed something very important. So whenever you
Yes.
get chance, try to listen to them. Okay?
Yes, will do. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Prabhuji.
you, Chandranji. Thank you, Dev.
Thanks.
All of
Hare
you.
Krishna,
Take
Babuji. Hare Krishna. Hare
care.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.